Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca. Last podcast before the Christmas break. The Oilers give their fans a little something to celebrate, little early presents. Bouncing back from a 3-game losing streak by winning back-to-back games in comeback fashion. Jason Strudwick, the star of the show, appreciated, and here tonight, standing by to break it down. Rob Brown will be here too. Welcome to Got Your Back, brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC. They want to thank you for your continued support 2023. It's because of you they were the #1 GMC volume dealership in Canada. They'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and a fantastic 2024 year ahead. Visit Phil and the crew in Sherwood Parker online, www.gmcpod.com. Don't forget, mention Got Your Back sent you. You'll get great pricing and 3 free details as part of the package. Coming to you tonight from our Long Shot studio, all game days, all day happy hour specials, $5 Long Shots Lager. Steve Taylor manning the controls in Kelowna. Zuby is off on some family time. And Rob Brown and Jason Strudwick joining. Brownie, you probably didn't hear last podcast. We had Ray Ferraro on right after the game.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and looked at it. It was 5 minutes before Strud said his first word of the podcast because I was in a panic. And so it was like I did my intros and my ad reads, and then I brought in Ray, and then I asked him a question, and then he went on for a couple of minutes. So, Struddy, that's why can you feel the love? Tonight's going to be the Jason Strudwick appreciation night, because last night, when I went back and listened to it, Struds, I felt bad. It was a bad one.
Yeah, and you should. You know, I actually text Drager and said, like, what am I missing here? Like, is Ray that great? You know, like, not even like hey, Strudwick's here tonight. So you kind of find out where you're on the pecking order. We see now your national guys, your big timers, your Ray Ferraro, your Darren Dragers. And then
Rob Brown.
I'm underneath that. Rob Brown.
Yeah, you can put Rob Brown on the shelf with those guys.
Outrageous. So I literally, Brownie, I'm like, hey, everyone, just so you know, I'm here tonight. I'm Jason Strudwick, introducing myself. And there's a couple nice tweets about it. I like the way you look tonight, Struddy. And I get that one all the time. But still.
Well, it's funny, though. I have noticed, though, that your microphone is muted. It's a little lower than usual. We were looking before it, I think. Ryan's done that. He doesn't want to hear as much from you.
Yeah.
I did get it. So on our show tonight with Reed, someone called from Australia today.
Nice.
and said, Mr. Brown, could you tell your buddy Struds it's prawns on the bobby, it's not shrimp. So could you please pass along to your friend Struds? So Struds, it's prawns on the bobby.
So that's the one they took offense to, Brownie? It wasn't the crocodile, whatever, Karate Dundee?
Wasn't the accent.
Wasn't what he focused on?
I think he was just trying to be nice because he thinks that, well, Struds has had a tough week. I mean, he's fallen on the pecking order. I think in Australia, he's now off of the 50 most influential podcasters from Edmonton area. He's down a little lower. So he was trying to send him some love.
Oh, buddy.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the info. I'll use it. Prawns on the bobby. Merry Christmas, Aussie. So I think just about nailed it.
It's great to have both you guys on the podcast. Struds, we have lots of fun when it's just you and I. I know you and Brownie had a blast when I wasn't there, but we're at our best when we are 3 strong. So, Brownie,
sure. It's true.
Good to have you tonight. One question I have for you, though, Brownie. You think you can get your face any closer to your camera or no?
Well, I could.
My goodness, man.
This thing that you bought me from Walmart just doesn't hold the camera very well. Like, I'm struggling. It keeps dipping down.
Like this. Like, this is what the rest of us are seeing for you. Like, this really right there.
Hi.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm just a hockey player. I don't understand this media stuff. I'm here, though. I'm ready.
Ready to go? Should we
I'm
go?
ready to go.
Let's
Should we
do it.
get
Let's
going,
launch.
Struds?
Let's launch. Yeah.
Let's launch. Let's get to the breakdown brought to you by Mr. Dirk, an iconic men's clothing store. If you're looking for a last-minute Christmas gift for the gentleman in your life, or for yourself, or for a friend, or for your brother, or for whoever, go see Sterling, Dan, the great crew down at Mr. Dirk. They got everything you need for every aspect of your wardrobe. Big lineup, casual clothes, jeans, pants, shirts, sweaters, shoes. And then on the more formal side, you've seen me when we do post-game pods from the rink, right? Mr. Dirk stuff is sharp. Looks fantastic. I've been buying their suits for, I don't even know how long, a long time. And I highly recommend it. MrDirk.com is the website. You can see all that they have to offer. 2 games in a row where through 40 minutes, not entirely dissatisfied with their effort, but trailing in game, Struds. 2 games in a row, they come out blasting in the third period and save their night. Similar scripts. It's rare to see that happen in back-to-back games, and quite frankly, it's pretty damn impressive.
Well, we go back to when Ekholm arrived at the Oilers. He talked about feeling comfortable either being up or down by 1 goal, heading to the second period, knowing you can lock the other team down and still win the game, whether you need to get back in by scoring or you just hold on to a 1-0 lead. Well, the Oilers have done it now back-to-back nights against, one really good team and one team that's, expected to do more than they have. I thought they were great, and they were patient games. They didn't, what we'd seen in the past is the Oilers get away from their game, maybe the second half of the second period, and they pretty much stayed with their game plan, right? They kept trying to work with it, didn't get away, didn't get frustrated, just keep pushing the same buttons, and they got it done. So I loved tonight's game. I thought tonight's game was a great game for them, Oilers. The way that everyone contributed, you had guys that hadn't scored for a while or not enough, find the back of the net. And Brownie, this was a great way to go into the Christmas break for the Oilers, and their flight home will be pretty merry, I bet.
I agree. I thought this was an important game. They had a chance to go with back-to-back wins in 2 tough barns and have a break where they've won 10 of 13 games, or they lose tonight, they go into the break having lost 4 out of 5 games. It's amazing how one game can change the whole complexion. But what we saw in the past with the Oilers, that if they were within a goal, even 2 goals going into the third period, they always had a chance to win a game because their power play was so good. They needed a goaltender that would give them a quality start. And these last 2 games, what you love about it, they got the quality starts, and they haven't had to rely on their power play to win it in the third period. It's even strength goals that are doing it. It's even strength goals from different lines. So I think that's even more impressive than what we've seen in the past, is they aren't just relying on a standout effort by their goaltender and their power play coming through. They've had in New Jersey, all 4 lines scored. Today, their top 3 lines scored. Those are huge things going forward.
Love it.
Yeah, the Dr. Kirby is just thrown into the stream what I was just going to follow up with, or McDavid, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. I know Draisaitl scored yesterday, but or Draisaitl. Like the fact that they're finding ways to win games without their power play, and with those guys not necessarily being the tip of the spear the way they normally are, like Struds, the confidence throughout the lineup, the middle 6, we've been talking a ton about it. Some nice little uptick here for the middle 6.
Well, let's give credit where it's due to the head coach. McLeod and Fogel move in beside Leon, and those 2 guys, what is that now? 4 goals between them the last 2 games, I believe. And then Leon, obviously, so that line, you talk about them, they got 5 goals between them. That's pretty good for a line that, was put together, that I don't believe they've played together any more than maybe a casual mix here and there. So I think let's give the coaching staff some credit as well, making that shift to that line. Now, I think there's someone who's outside of those top 6 who isn't happy where he's playing. Now, we can guess who that player is, but I think we could tell by the way his body language today, that where he's feeling. He did score, but we'll save that maybe for later. But I like the way that line's looking right now, and I do like that speed on the wings for Leon.
What about that too, Struds? There's games that you don't win, but you have a push in the game, and that could lead into something for the following game. The game against the Islanders, they didn't win the game, but that's when they made the move. In the third period of that game, they put Fogel, McLeod, and Draisaitl together. They didn't win the game, but they outshot the Islanders, I think it was 18-2 in the third period. Because they played so well in that third period, in New Jersey, the coach kept those lines together. And shocking when you think about it. At the beginning of the season, if we would have said, okay, Kane, you're playing with Derek Ryan, and Fogle and McLeod, you're playing with Leon. But the coach saw something, and he kept them together. McLeod has been first star in back-to-back games. Fogle was second star tonight. In all honesty, I thought Fogle was their best player tonight. So, I agree with you, Struds. Give the coach credit. Those are not easy choices. Those are not easy moves, and we will talk about it. There's players that are not happy about it. Well, when I say player is not happy about the moves. But the problem with that player not being happy, this is a team that just won back-to-back games in New Jersey and New York. There should have been huge celebration during the game and after the game that wasn't there because of the way that this team played and everyone contributed.
Okay, let's stop speaking in code. We're talking about Evander Kane. We're going to get there in just 1 minute, but I want to stay on Ryan McLeod here for a second because another really solid performance from him. Really, really good. His 2 best games of the year come back to back, and it's such a good sign for him. Now, K. Gill 97 says, Ryan, are you going to eat some more crow tonight about Ryan McLeod? I got no idea what you're talking about, K. Gill. I'm not eating crow at all. He was garbage earlier this season. We said he was garbage earlier this season. I said I believed in the player. He's playing better, and we are happy to speak about Ryan McLeod playing a hell of a lot better right now. He's found his game. He's found some confidence. Struds, did you see him in the corner get up pissed off and shove a guy? We've never seen that from Ryan McLeod ever. This guy has bought in, and he is finally showing up to compete.
Yeah, and it's, competing is it's something you can really control, and we've talked about a lot. You can't control the refs or your ice time or your line mates, but you can control how hard you battle shift in, shift out. And when you give that push, give that shove, I think it makes a difference. And even his goal tonight, he just hangs around the front of the net. He's just waiting, and the puck eventually comes to him. But he's in the right area, And then I know it wasn't the hardest goal to score, but just going there and staying there, I don't think we've seen enough out of him this year. And Brown, you made a really good point. I can't remember if it was, I think it was the last, maybe 2 days ago, but the Oilers, they were scoring from around the net. They're staying around the net. They're scoring goals from around the net. And I love that because it's not unskilled, but they are more unskilled goals than 3 passes in a backdoor tap in, buddy.
Well, I made a living there because it's the way where all the unskilled guys hung out. So it was like, hey, I'm going to hang out in the blue paint.
Oh, yeah. You were such a plug. Yeah, Brown, you were such a plug.
But what I love about McLeod, and we talked about McLeod earlier in the season, McLeod was 2 perimeter. He would come in with a ton of speed. He'd go around the outside of the boards, behind the net, around the outside, but it was always perimeter. In the last 2 games, he scored the goal. I think it was Gagne set him up. He was right in the blue paint, backdoor, shot it in. The goal that he picked up off the boards, rimmed around, he picks it up off the boards, he drives the net, makes a move, and continues to go around the goaltender and shoot, but he went to the blue paint. And then again today, very easily could have drifted, but he stood in the blue paint. So these are the things that we have talked about, and Ryan McLeod's heard it for the last 3 years here from his coaching staff. You've got to hang in the blue paint. Watch, we talked about it on the podcast, have a little string from him to Kane or from him to Hyman, so he has to go where they go because they always hang out in the blue paint. And tonight he did, and he's been rewarded. And what you find, when you find some success, you start realizing, hey, wait a second, it feels good scoring goals. Where did I score the goals from? So hopefully this will carry on past the break because we are starting to see the McLeod that we all hope that we would see. Maybe he's not a centerman. Maybe he's a winger. Maybe it makes it easier for him. But he has been very effective these last couple of games.
Yeah. You know who didn't hang around the front of the net on McLeod's goal? Leon Draisaitl. Did you see him peel away on that 2-on-1, Struds, when he didn't get the puck? It was just like that wingman just broke off. Like he was gone. He basically huge circle away. But good for Ryan McLeod. He went to the front of the net there and he hung in there. I'm making an executive decision. The Evander Kane discussion is going to be a good discussion. I'm going to push it to the next segment, though, for our takeaway segment, because I want to be able to dig in on that a little bit, and there'll be some negative energy. The Oilers won tonight, so we'll keep the breakdown going a little bit more positive about their win because there was lots to be positive about. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box. Here is the netminder, Stuart Skinner, talking about getting absolutely cratered in the chest and face with that shot and then the interaction with Mika Zibanejad.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Zibanejad came up to me after almost knocking me out, and I made the save, and he was like, "All right, we're even now, so we can call it square," and made me laugh. So no, they're really nice about it, actually. After that whole thing happened, a lot of their team came up to me, asked if I was all right, which was, I thought, really professional and kind of them.
You hate that stuff, don't you, Struddy? Guys being nice to each other out there between the whistles. Yeah. Hey, man, you okay? Hey, you good?
Maybe they could have bought him a scone or something, maybe a New York bagel. I don't get that. You know what? Anyways,
see, but Streds,
no.
You know why you don't get it? No, why you don't get it, Streds? Because you were a big, mean physical defenseman. But if you're an asshole, well, I didn't want to say that on air. I didn't know if I was allowed to swear or not. But when you're a skilled player, you want to make friends out there so that the other guys, before they won't cross-check you in the back of the face. You know what? That Zibanejad, he's not that bad a guy. I could have run him through the boards, but maybe I won't.
Yeah, what a great guy. Huh? How are your feelings? Are you feeling okay? Like, was that shot too hard?
Still comfortable out there?
I'm not there to make friends, and I whatever. I don't want to get into it, but I'll say this, guys.
No, get into it.
I hate it. I hate it. We're just buddy. You can be buddy before and after. I don't care if guys talk to each other in warm up. I never did, but I don't mind if you do. But I think you're in the middle of a game. You're competing. Zibanejad did nothing wrong. What's he apologizing for? Skinner's paid to stand in the net and take shots off the head. That's the job. You asked for it. Just the same as a D-man is asked to block shots. Sometimes we take it off the ankles. We don't complain. I just see no one come over. Hey, man, sorry about that shot on the ankle. No problem. Thanks for reminding me. Like, it bothers me so much when guys do that. But it's Christmas. I'll try to get off it. But I'll say this. I wouldn't have been surprised if that goal counted, guys. I think Skinner threw his helmet off.
Well, he did.
In that moment.
Yeah, but it was broken. You're allowed to do that.
Broken. You're allowed to throw your helmet off.
I think the strap came off. I believe the broken was...
Once the strap is off, you're allowed to shake it off. You're 100% allowed to shake it off. Nope, that was the right call. And the Rangers didn't complain about it. They knew that's the right call. It's a safety issue. They did the continuation thing. If the puck would have hit his chest and fell in the crease and they pushed it in there, they might have allowed it to happen because there's nothing he could have done. But as soon as the puck went 20 feet away, it was a no goal. That was the right call.
JL says,
go ahead,
Strutz.
I hope someone checked in with the person make that decision to make sure that they were having an okay night.
Everybody okay?
And maybe their coffee was too warm, or maybe they were upset about the traffic jam heading into New York. Like, give me a break.
Struds, you know what? I'll call you after, buddy, and we'll talk. I mean,
I don't want to talk.
Do you need a hug?
We're getting some action here. JL says Struddy's World starting early tonight. No, we got Struddy's World still to come. That's Brownie's favorite segment. Everybody lost an ego says totally agree. Shane Matheson says no friends on other teams. Killer mentality during the game, says Calvin C. Noah says Struddy's the old guy yelling at the clouds. Multiple times this year you've been the old guy yelling at the clouds. I got a quick question. Oh, you're muted, Strud.
Oh my, you sounded so good. That's the best thing you've had all night.
You're muted. You're still muted.
I'll say this. I will say this. The one time I'm on fire. No, I'll say the one time where it's okay. The funniest thing I heard was when Sean Horkoff was telling me that, he'd be beating a young guy on draws and there'd be like a neutral zone draw. And a young player would come up and say, buddy, you've been killing me all night and the coaches love me. Can you let me win this one? And sometimes Hork would say, yeah, I would let him win it. And then sometimes I'd just destroy him because I want him to keep having a bad day. And I like that mentality. Like, you don't want your other buddy on the other team to have a good day. You don't want him to feel good about things. Like, I wish Skinner said, oh, it's nothing. Like that is nothing. Yeah. That's a nothing shot. Like,
but he's not an asshole like you, Struds. That's the difference. I played 1 year a long time ago. Matthew Barnaby, we were playing in Boston last game of the season. Joe Thornton was a rookie. And it was in the paper the day of the game that he got something like $100,000 or something huge bonus if he got 2 points. And Matthew Barnaby played against him all night long. And every face-off that was in our end, the Penguins' end, Matthew Barnaby said to Joe Thornton, "You've got 2 seconds. I will not check you for 2 seconds." We were pulling for him to get the 2 points. The game meant nothing for us. Boston was at that time a cheap team. We wanted him to get the bonus, and he did get it.
Come on.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a good story, Brown. I love that.
That's great. I'm sure Joe bought him something nice. Joe doesn't care. He did not care. Like Matthew, who?
He did as a rookie. He cared.
Matthew, who is it? Barnacle? No one cares. God, that's
Great
frustrating.
sportsmanship all the way around. Brownie, I do have to call you out on something.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I believe you used the term cross-check you in the back of the face. I'm not sure. Yeah, you said
Tonight?
Yeah, cross-check. Yeah, you were talking about Strudge, and you said he'll cross-check you in the back of the face.
I did.
I'm just confused about that. Is it the back of the head? Is that?
I honestly don't remember saying that. Concussion syndrome. So I can deny. It's what I do with my wife. Deny.
Can we get Struddy? You think he said it right? He said back of the face, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't want any confrontation. We're anti-confrontation. Let's just
all be nice.
Make sure everybody's okay.
Okay, here's a little confrontational conversation for you. How about this one? The last minute of that hockey game, you're playing for your goalie, right? The difference between 2 goals against and 3 goals against in Stuart Skinner's world, it's one, exactly, Brownie. It matters. So you're playing for your goalie. They're not getting 2 on you, and everybody knows. Bear down for your tender in the last minute. Everybody bear down. Skinner looked pissy after that 3rd goal for just a split second, and I don't blame him. He was his usual chipper self post-game, but did that bug anyone else? Bear down in the last minute. Your goalie gave you a chance. The difference between 2 and 3 to him is big.
Yeah, no, it didn't bother me.
Struds?
I was shocked, though, that they missed the open net 9 times. Yeah. I mean, seriously, I would have bet my house that Connor McDavid, when he had the puck below the goal line, he was about to go and shoot it into an empty net. I'd be houseless today, but it meant nothing. The game was over. They won the game. That's all that matters.
You got a goalie trying to dig out, Brownie. Trying to dig out in the big picture. Struds, what do you think, bud? I mean, that play was there. The puck was there to be cleared.
Yeah, I wonder if Zibanejad went over and apologized to Skinner after for scoring or for his teammates scoring on him. Right?
No, he wasn't out there at that point. That was some other guy that scored.
I hope he texts them later then, just to let them know that this is what happened.
Well, did you see they hugged after the game?
Yeah. Did they really? Yeah.
No.
This is what I would say. I would say this. I'd agree with you. Now, let me ask you this. Let's talk about player selection at the end of the game there. Would there be a line you could put on that maybe look a little bit different? Could you put a Fogle, McLeod, Brown line out there to protect a 2-goal lead at the end? Would that be a different look rather than the guys that had out there?
Well, I'll ask you this, Struds.
Yeah.
When you're killing a penalty 6-on-4, Connor McDavid doesn't kill penalties anymore, and all of a sudden he was killing a penalty with an empty net. Yeah. I was shocked by that.
Yeah, and Leon was out there on the penalty kill
faceoffs.
Yeah, but also because I think Nuge was in the penalty box, right? When Jeremy mailed that one into the penalty box. So I think that's also time. So yeah, it is an interesting setup, like just the usage of the players, right? So yeah, I might have looked at a different group of players.
Draisaitl had a chance to clear that puck in the middle of the ice and ends up in the back of the net. I didn't like that one. I don't know why. I feel like your goalie gave you a chance. Like that last minute, you got on the bench, you got to be going, come on, guys. Like buckle it down here for Stu. That would be my thought. Looking at Leon Draisaitl's stats, by the way, I think he's 8-4 for 12 points in his last 13 games, which, I mean, it's nothing to shake a stick at, but by his standards. But the thing that's interesting to me is the 4 assists in 13 games. This is one of the best puck distributors on the planet. Brownie, what are you seeing with Leon Draisaitl?
Well, part of it is the guys he's been playing with aren't goal scorers. I mean, Kane had 1 even strength goal in 12 games. Before the last 2 games, both Fogle, they'd had 1 goal in 20 games, and McLeod had 2 goals on the season. 1 was in an empty net. So he played with Janmark for a while, who's got 1 goal on the season. Played with Connor Brown, who's got 0 goals on the season. Part of it is his line mates. I mean, Connor McDavid's playing on a line that's all world. Leon Draisaitl, the wingers have been very cold. All the players that are on the wing outside of the top 2. Now, right now, they found something with Fogle and McLeod. Hopefully that will continue. But I don't think anyone would have thought that would be your second line at the beginning of the season. So part of it, I mean, I don't think Leon's playing as well as he did. Their power play is not scoring. So they had 0 power play goals on this road trip. That will affect his assists. But I agree. I don't think Draisaitl's been fine, but he's not been all world. And we're used to having Leon being all world most nights.
Anything on that, Struds?
No, I'd agree. I think that, there's ebbs and flows, right? And I think that he's trying to, when that top line is what they are, I think he has to maybe modify his game a little bit. Instead of trying to get the wingers to modify to him. Maybe when you're that good, you got to be able to find a way to just have a different style of game, right? Rather than play maybe the more high skill play you want to play.
Brownie's signal's a little gummed up, so I know some people on the stream are commenting, asking if he's still on dial-up. I actually know for a fact you got off your wallet and got the high-speed stuff.
I did.
Brownie?
This is the expensive stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My poor wife had to work overtime for us to afford it, but hey.
There you go. Well, when you get a clear signal, I'll start paying you for the shows. One more time to the Weiss Johnson Soundbox, and a reminder, it might be chilly now, but you'll be a hero when that first day of heat arrives and you got the sweet AC up and running. A new unit installed by the pros from Weiss Johnson can do that for you. Order now, save with their festive December special, 25% off any in-stock air conditioners. It's a great deal. I have one. For details, visit wjcools.com. Jingle. Chris Knobloch on the way the trip finished and the trip overall heading to the break.
First of all, you don't get very many come from behind wins in the third period. When you're trailing, very difficult to win games, and we were able to do that 2 nights and back-to-back, so it's even less likely. So I liked our guys' perseverance. They've worked hard and stuck with the game plan, and they deserve a nice little break for the Christmas break, and we're looking forward to getting started again.
The difference between winning those 2 games or even just splitting them heading into the break for the Oil, that was big, man. That was back-to-back games against one of the better teams in the league on the second day. You come from behind, you win. Good, solid team win. That was big for that group, and they can feel good about themselves. 500, not where they want to be, but having won 10 of their last 13. When we come back, did you hear Evander Kane post-game? Did you hear his comments? Some people were talking about his lack of celebration on the ice. How'd you feel about those things? We'll hear from Kane. We'll discuss it. Interested to hear what Struddy might have to say. He's in a bit of a mood tonight. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner and we've got everything you need for the athlete and sports fan on your list. With over 30 different sports under one roof, including hockey, bikes, ball, and our amazing fan shop, United is your one-stop shop for everything sport. Don't know what to buy? A United gift card is always a fan favorite. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca. The Edmonton Sport and Social Club is YEG's top destination for adult recreational sports, offering over 20 different options, including ball hockey, indoor volleyball, pickleball, and now ice hockey for all you fans out there looking to lace them up for the first time or get back into the game after a few years off, like Struddy. Sign up by December 13th for the winter season beginning mid-January at edmontonsportsclub.com. So we heard in the chat during the break that the Weiss Johnson jingle did not properly play. Not sure what's going on. I'm going to play it off my board. Weiss Johnson, whoa. Cannot have a Got Your Back without the Weiss Johnson jingle. It's an absolute staple. Time now for takeaways brought to you by Redefined Health, where they specialize in total body and mind wellness, from chiropractic and massage care treatments to acupuncture, soft tissue therapy, nutrition, and even an on-site registered psychologist. Dr. Tyler Fix and Redefined Health are there to help you get well and stay healthy for a lifetime. Visit redefinedhealth.com. Struds, did you hear Kane post-game, or did you just see his reaction to the goal?
Well, I definitely saw the reaction to the goal. And, as a teammate who likes to celebrate other guys scoring, I would say to describe it would be a muted celebration.
Yes. It's a muted.
That would be a very positive way of putting it in there.
I watched both the goal celebration, lack of, and I also heard the post game. The first phone call we had on our post game show with the Oilers show was about what's wrong with Kane. Why is he upset? And they referenced the post game. We hadn't heard it yet. We did later, and then he referenced the goal celebration. That was a huge goal that he scored.
Huge.
Huge. Jonathan Quick was outstanding through 40 minutes. They finally break him with Hyman, and then right away, your third line scores a goal. Huge. In New York, you're about to win back-to-back games, 10 out of 13. That is huge. Now again, this is just looking from the outside. I have no idea. But to me, it looked like a player that's frustrated with where he's playing. We've seen when the Oiler players score big goals, the excitement level when they celebrate. McLeod with his smile with no teeth. Fogle when he celebrates. We've seen the fourth line when Derek Ryan's been on a lot, the celebrations. So when Ryan and Janmark are on for a goal that's huge for them because their ice time is limited to how well they play. So they score a huge goal. That is a big moment. And it was taken away a bit when the guy that just scored the goal has zero celebration. And then, at the end of the game, when he was interviewed, his words were something along the lines. I'm paraphrasing.
I got it here, Brownie.
Okay, then
I got it here. So we'll let you listen to this, and then we will debate the meaning of it all. Here's Evander Kane.
It's nice to get in the score sheet. Limited minutes. I thought our line did a good job. Derek Ryan was great in the faceoff circle, and obviously Yanni doing what he does best, kind of up and down, and getting pucks out of the corners there down low, and we were able to find one, so that was nice.
Okay.
In limited minutes. So I mean,
he threw the limited minutes thing in there. He was 1440. But then he went on to compliment his line mates. Struds, having heard that for the first time, what do you think?
Yeah, so I a quick look. I think that was his third lowest ice time of the year, right? I think that I saw. Just a quick look. I do get it. I understand where he's coming from. That he wants to be further up the line, right? He wants to be, but right now he's not going to be beside Connor because of the way that line's playing. And then for whatever reason, he and Leon weren't having the success they wanted. I think when you're a veteran in that situation, I think you have to understand the moment and where the team is at and how important that moment is for your group. And that moment being whether it's his goal or whoever's goal or just winning that game. I think you really have to kind of understand and say, okay, I'll take a step back here. And I can always go talk to the coach after Christmas and say, hey man, like what's going on here? Where are my minutes at? Why am I on this line? And I think that what I just said, it would be similar to what Nodlock just said. Kane on the third line is a pretty good matchup for most of the time. You should get chances, right? You're not pairing against its top pair. You're not playing against maybe other team's top line. So I think you have to step back and say, is this good for the team? And I don't always think that that's Evander's first response to any situation, but I think that the Oilers need him to look at that, Brownie.
Well, I agree. If the Oilers are going to make a run at the playoffs and a lengthy playoff run, they need a very good Evander Kane. He's got to be a big part of their team. He's going to be getting second line minutes, and they need him to play the way he's capable of playing. The last 12 games, Evander Kane has not played well, not up to the standards they need. He was playing either with Connor or Leon in most of those games, and the ones that he's been playing with Leon, their line wasn't good. So they switched the lines up, and McLeod and Fogle had some chemistry with Leon. They carried it on. Played well in New Jersey, won the game. Played well in New York, won the game. That's got to be a celebration. You've won 10 of 13. You just won back-to-back games on the road. Fogle and McLeod were fantastic in both games. I think when you go public with something like that, you're saying that I'm more important than the minutes I got. Well, then what does that say to the players that normally play those minutes? or the players that play less than those minutes. You can be frustrated. I understand he's frustrated. He's probably frustrated that Hyman's on the first power play unit and they don't change their unit, and all of a sudden he's getting 30 seconds. But those are things that you deal with the coach privately. Say, hey, you know what? What's going on? I need 18 minutes, 20 minutes. What do I need to do? But that's got to be private. And the one thing that we've seen with Evander, and this isn't the first time, this is the second or third time this year, he said something publicly about limited minutes.
So I'm going to chime in here with a bit of a different take. Part of it is to play devil's advocate, but I actually am not quite as convinced as you guys. Davin made a good point here on the stream. He said, Kane sounds like a guy who isn't excited to be 500. Now, I've been interviewing Evander Kane all season long, observing him. And there'll be times where Kane will be sitting in his stall, chatting with the media members, laughing, joking around a little bit, just kind of off the record stuff, that kind of thing. We haven't seen much of that lately. Evander Kane's interviews have been muted lately. On nights where Evander Kane has had good nights, he's come in there and been muted lately. I think he is really frustrated with where this team is at. And I think that's consistent for me over the last couple of, last month or so. So I'm not saying that there's no frustration there, but it is consistent with his mood throughout this stretch. And so I don't know. I'm not quite as offended by it. I thought he went on to compliment both of his line mates in the same answer. And I think that matters. And you know what? For him to fire that little shot across the bow on the minutes, Struds, while not ideal, if you're Chris Knobloch, you're like, all right, great. Show me. Like, yeah, show me. Sure. I don't think you worry about it if you're the coach. You don't mind a player that's a little grumpy about his ice time, and you give him a chance to show you.
No, it's fair. I guess to be the devil's advocate, to your devil's advocate,
Ooh.
You just
Does that make you an angel?
Well, that's what my mom would say. When you have that, you have a huge win. Like, make no mistake about it. This tonight was a humongous win. And from a distance through my TV, it felt like a really weird celebration. Part of it was the goal at the end. And I'm sure when they got in the dressing room, everyone was really happy and excited. But you came back on a really good team and won a game in a tough building 2 days before, or whatever, 3 days before Christmas. Like, I think that's one of those ones you're just fired up, and there's beers, a couple, in the bus after. Like, yeah. I
relief, Struds? Was it relief when the goal went in? Did he turn around and he was like finally?
That's not what I saw.
I didn't think that either. No. I wouldn't interpret. It was more, I read it as more as like, look, I can still do it. Look at me, guys. I can still do it here, even though I'm not on whatever line I want to be on. And I get it. He has higher expectations, maybe for himself, from what you're saying, Sean, and for this team. I get that. But as a veteran player, you're brought in to also guide the team and help the team, right? And I don't know. I hope you're right, Schauger, and you're around that team every day, so your sense is probably very clear than what we're seeing. But just from a distance, I've seen that look before in other players.
He's been pretty understated. Like, one of the other answers in that interview, Brownie, I don't know if you heard the whole thing. I think you and Reed played the whole thing. But one of his first answers, he said, we're going to need a lot more of that if we're going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
He was not ready to celebrate a big win. There's a little bit of all business to him and a real distaste with where this team is at. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that it has nothing to do with where he's playing. I'm not naive enough to think that. But I don't think this was as bad as even the he's had a couple comments this year. This is third on the list for me compared to the other ones.
Well, I disagree simply because there was a lot of frustration before because the team was losing. This team is 10-3 in its last 13 games. It just won back-to-back games. So the comment was thrown out in a game that they won. Yeah. It wasn't in a game that they lost. It was thrown out in a game that they won. Limited minutes. Big game that they won.
Limited minutes.
So that, to me, that takes a little shine off a win.
Well, just keep in mind that Strudwick felt he got limited minutes in last night's pod, and he was not afraid to make that very clear very early on. So, a bit of a prima donna situation happening on the pod. As we wrap up our takeaway segment, I asked you guys what's under the tree for the Oilers. What's under the Christmas tree for the Edmonton Oilers? Did you think of anything? Did you do your homework on the way home, Struds? Brownie, you can start.
Okay, I got three things. One, health. The Oilers have put themselves in a position where they got to play good hockey all season long. They can't afford a long stretch missing any of their top players. They need good health.
Don't they already have that? Isn't that a
No,
gift
they
that
do.
they already have?
I mean, yeah, but you got to continue. Like, you can't have just good health until Christmas, and all of a sudden it's all over. Now we're
Continued
good
health.
health in continued health. 2, mittens for McLeod, mittens for Fogle. Right now their hands are hot. I do not want them to cool off during the Christmas break, so I want them wearing mittens the entire Christmas break. And number 3, I want salary cap room. I don't know how they're going to find it. I don't know if someone's going to take Campbell's contract, what they're going to do. But this Oiler team needs depth at the deadline. They need depth on the back end. They need depth up front. And they need another goaltender. To do that, they need salary cap room. So those are the 3 things that I think the Oilers would be on my wish list under the Christmas tree.
Struddy.
Yeah, why don't you ask Ray Ferraro? He'd probably have an idea. So I've got 3 as well. No, just kidding. I only have 2. Number 1, that Dylan Holloway becomes a top 6 player. And my second one would be a Klim Kostin-like trade, where they're able to move, maybe a guy who's in the minor leagues for another guy that can help out, preferably in the top 6, a little bit bigger body. Sugar?
Yeah, good stuff. For me, it's that Skinner comes back and doesn't miss a beat. He's got a little bit of momentum going in his game right now. I know people didn't like, a couple games that they lost here recently, but I think Stuart Skinner is absolutely critical to this thing going the right way. And if his game is heading in the right direction, you don't want the Christmas break to stall that in any way, shape, or form. I've got a healthy Dylan Holloway soon, Strud, so I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
And then a third line center. They got away with it here tonight. I don't think they have a long-term solution at third line center. I think there's a chance Ryan McLeod will be a better winger than he has been a center so far. So that's definitely on their wish list. Might be a little early come Christmas time to fill that, though. So there you have it. Our Christmas wish list for the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe we'll take some of those in our Ask Us Anything segment as well. So if you want to send in your suggestions on the stream, go ahead and do that. That was Takeaways brought to you by Redefined Health. When we come back, an early Christmas present for Rob Brown. Yet another edition of Struddy's World coming up.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmot Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmot.com.
If you own or operate a business, you know the value of a great employee. Just ask Schauger. Pathfind is here to help you find your next star player to help take your business to the next level. Pathfind can help with recruitment, career transition, leadership coaching. They truly have your whole team covered. Building you a championship caliber roster. Find your team's path forward at pathfind.ca. When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They've got locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. Whether you're a homeowner, a contractor, a builder, DLR is the most reliable source for vinyl fence product. They opened back in 2005. They're not going anywhere. Unmatched service, high quality, North American made products. That's my brother's company. Rick runs the branch here at Edmonton. And for you Calgary listeners, and they are plentiful on this podcast, guys, Rob runs the branch out in Calgary. Check them out at dlrvinylproducts.ca. Struddy, what do you got tonight, my man?
Ginger snaps, I'll pass. Shortbread, no thanks. Anything with cinnamon on it, no. Unless it's a China White, I won't take it either. Gingerbread cookies, keep those in your pocket. I don't want them. But when you're passing around the tray that has fudge on it, of all the Christmas delicacies, that is the one that these mighty mitts reach out for, because if you're packing fudge, I'm loving it. I'm all about it. I think it's absolutely delicious. And it is my favorite, by far, my favorite Christmas treat.
Oh, you did it again. You did it again, Struds. You did it again. Absolute. Oh, Struds.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
I don't
Can
even think we
somebody
can
please-
acknowledge that last one. I think we
Can
got to just let that.
Can we
I
not
don't-
like pre-read his stuff before he talks about it? Oh my God. Oh my God.
We got to just leave that one, or we're gonna get. I think we'll get like booted off of. Can you get booted off of YouTube for?
We're gonna get a new label. We won't be like it'll be explicit here.
My goodness.
Okay, first of all, is fudge really a Christmas delicacy? I mean, do you have like we get all these baking things sent to us, like trays of baked goods. Our neighbor Nancy, Fancy Nancy, sent over all these cookies and stuff, and they're fantastic. I've never had fudge in it. Like is I didn't know that was there's Christmas fudge in the Strudwick.
Christmas fudge is the thing. That's a family tradition. Oh, my family tradition. We have it all the time.
Sugar. I know. I'm trying to keep this together too. Do you have Christmas fudge?
Not a lot of Christmas fudge.
No.
And we're like we have family coming in from all over the place, and nobody packs it, so it's not.
No one's bringing the fudge in. I tell you guys, I love the fudge. I can't tell you how much I love fudge, and that's the only time my mom makes it. We were over there, we had it. That's where I was for the Christmas party. Watched the Oilers game, and I'm telling you guys, it was fantastic.
I got another one here. Like, who the hell keeps gingerbread men in their pockets?
Well, I'm trying.
You said keep that gingerbread man in your pocket. Who in the Sam hell is running around with gingerbread man that they're going to offer you straight out of their pocket?
The feedback I get from you is to be more like just prepared and ready to lay out what I have. So I went through 4 Christmas treats that are at the top of many people's list. I don't know where they keep them all. I don't know where they have it, but I was just rolling it out, saying I'll pass. So you can forget about it. And I want to make it clear where I feel with the fudge. With
you
walnut.
made it clear. Everybody now knows.
I mean, we now know. There's no question where you stand on that. 40 Knight says your YouTube channel has just been demonetized. Trying to be a family show here, but Struddy's World is just getting in the way. Wow. Well, there you go, Brownie. That is an early Christmas present for you, buddy.
No,
it
wasn't. That was coal in the stockings right there. That was coal in the stockings.
I certainly don't like the fudge.
Jason Fudgewick, Dan J says, and throws that into the podcast. Good stuff. That was Struddy's World. Sorry, Rick and Rob. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, brothers. Brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products with locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. Brownie, what is your all-time favorite Christmas treat? Like on the treat dish, what can you not keep your hands off of?
Well, I like sugar cookies with icing on them. Love those.
Oh,
so we got those upstairs. Yeah. My daughter makes those all the time. And when we put the icing on, like we are like, it's triple layered. So you can barely taste the sugar cookie. It's all icing. But that would be the one that we eat the most here.
You know, the one that gets me, and Randy started doing them, like, I think just the year, I think might have been COVID. So the nibs licorice, you cut those in half, and then half of it, you basically dip them in chocolate, and then you sprinkle them with candy, and then you put them in the fridge. And so you end up with a chocolate covered nib that has candy sprinkles on it. They're off the charts. So good.
That would be good.
I actually might need to go get one right now.
That is good. Struds is obviously fudge. He's a big fan of the fudge.
Yep.
Christmas fudge. It's unlike any other.
Struddy's World brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Brownie, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on our podcast. And Merry Christmas to you and to your family. And look forward to talking to you after the break, pal.
All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Everyone listening tonight, Merry Christmas to you guys, too. Have a safe holiday, and we will see you after Santa comes. Bye-bye.
Now,
time to talk about your mortgage? It doesn't have to be a daunting conversation. With over 16 years in the industry, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages knows how to make it easy. With access to dozens of different lenders, let Maria customize the perfect solution for you. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or renewing, or a first-time buyer, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you feeling confident you're in great hands, making informed decisions. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
Are you ready to elevate your moving experience? Trusted for over 100 years, Ferguson Moving and Storage are your partners in relocation, ensuring your journey is smooth and stress-free. And say goodbye to surprises with Ferguson's transparent flat rate pricing. Contact them now for a free moving quote and use a promo code Ferguson to receive $100 off your next move. Visit fergusonmoving.com and let them lift your expectations.
Sorry, that's my bad. Let's go back to Ferguson.
What's that, buddy?
I put on I stopped the Ferguson ad too early there.
Oh, did you? You stopped
Yeah.
the Ferguson ad?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Oh, we can just we can give them a little live plug here.
Let's do it.
If you're moving, call Ferguson, right? They make it simple. Brett's an awesome guy. They got a family company over there, and they're good friends of the podcast. So if you or someone you know is moving in the next little bit, Ferguson Moving, Google them, check them out. It's a great company and great friends of the podcast. How was that? And that was the last commercial though, right, Steve? We didn't miss anything else?
You betcha.
Okay, let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. Holiday gifting is great right now. Purchase a $50 gift card. You get a bonus $10 card and a couple of Match branded beer sleeves. Great stocking stuffers, right? Gift cards are available in the restaurant and at matchpub.com. And I'm reading the wrong promo right now, aren't I, Steve? You didn't want to stop me?
That's hey, you moved on to Ask Us Anything. That's okay.
I was just texting you, actually.
You were well, you guys can talk directly to me.
I don't know. Do you want to come over the top?
Okay, reset. We're getting off the rails here. I'm overtired. So we won't do Ask Us Anything now. Instead, we'll do Take a Lap, right? There you go. You got the ad up there. Brought to you by Backscape. So you get 2 ad reads in a row. Sorry, everybody. Brought to you by Backscape, the product that's taking the world by storm right now. Get rid of unwanted back hair by yourself with Backscape. It's water resistant, rechargeable, got a nice long handle, lets you take care of business on your own. And they got a huge sale right now. 30 to 50% off. Visit backscape.com. That's bakscape.com and choose from a variety of packages that can be delivered right to your door. Backscape. Stay smooth, gentlemen. Okay, let's get this back on the rails, Struds. You talk for a little bit and make some sense.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the big trade this offseason with Pierre-Luc Dubois went down to the Kings, and people were wondering, okay, how's it going to work out for the Jets, you know, a team that seemed to be losing some players? Well, they get a couple players back, and Gabe Vilardi, who had some injury issues early, is now thriving. And I'm talking thriving on a top-line role with Scheifele and Ehlers. On that line has been one of the hottest lines in the league, and Vilardi's been one of the hottest. He scored again tonight, so that's 5 games with a goal for him. 12 points in the last 5 games. This year he has 15 points in 14 games. Obviously some injury issues. Just to compare, Pierre-Luc Dubois, who signed a significant contract to the Kings, he's got 29 games played, and he's only got 13 points. So, you know, it's short term and we need to get too excited. But, you know, it looks like the return that they got for Pierre-Luc Dubois, a guy who wanted out, is really looking good. And it maybe added more depth to their lineup in Winnipeg. Schauger. Tough
Trade to make when a guy wants out. He's a center. You know, chances are you're probably not going to get the best player in that trade, right? So they spread it out a little bit, and they bring in a few different guys. I mean, Vilardi had 23 goals in 63 games last season. So he looked like a guy that maybe was going to break out. But when you make somebody the centerpiece of a trade like that, and he was one of the centerpieces, there's some risk there. So is that pro scouting? Is that Cheval Day off? Is that who's the person that's in that room going, no, Vilardi has to be in the deal. Vilardi has to be the guy. Because that didn't feel obvious, Struds.
No, it didn't. But you know, I remember watching him play. Obviously, you see him with the Oilers when he was with the Kings for quite a bit, and he is a dynamic, talented player. He was a high pick. I want to say he was around 10 or so. I might be wrong, somewhere in there. But it's looked really good for them, and the Jets look more balanced. And for the Kings, they're probably still waiting for Pierre-Luc Dubois to kind of arrive. But the good thing is Byfield's playing well, then Deneau and obviously Kopitar are filling up those top 2 center spots. It's not like they desperately need him to be the man, but I'm sure they're looking for more out of him.
Like Jets are playing pretty well without Connor too. And that's the thing when a player like that, I mean, your go-to guy isn't there and you're still able to pick up wins and still able to play well. That's a pretty snappy turnaround for that organization. Hey, when you think about, I think about walking around at the draft and all the talk about Shovel Day off and which trades are going to happen. What's he going to be able to do? How many of these guys? And it was Scheifele and it was Hellebuck and it was the whole mess. And it dates back to even when it was Wheeler. Pretty snappy little turnaround here.
Well, I think the big thing were those 2 guys signing back on, right? Hellebuck and Scheifele. I did not see that coming, and good on them of getting it done. Both those guys wanting to stay. Then obviously you had Rick Bowness and the incident, the health scare with his wife, and she's back. So they've had, some things happen to kind of, and then the trade obviously all before that was Pierre-Luc Dubois going out the door. So I like it. I think it spreads their depth out more and helps them out. It'll be interesting. Then on the flip side of that, you've got Philly and Detroit playing tonight.
Bit of a barn burner, wasn't it?
Detroit gets up. They score 5 goals in the first period. It's 5-1. So you get early in the second period. And, Kristen Fisher I don't think it was awful. Takes a run at Nick Seeler of the Flyers, a D-man who actually is a UFA after this year. And they get into a fight. And, I didn't think I think you could say that Seeler was the aggressor, but I wouldn't say it was like a wild jumping. Like, he didn't jump all over Fisher and fight him. But anyways, they both go off onto the benches, and then the ref comes over and hammers Seeler for 2, 5, and 10. And Seeler goes bonkers. Right away, the ref lines him up, and you're out of the game, and he goes out. And the whole way, he's giving it to both refs, and he's just losing it. So it's now 5-1, and guess what happens? He's off. Philly gets back in this game. They end up getting back into it. It ends up being 6-6 at the end of regulation and 3-on-3 overtime. It goes to a shootout where their newest player for Detroit scores, Patrick Kane. Should note he had 3 points tonight, so maybe he's starting to feel it in 20 minutes of action. But it's pretty rare. Usually I've been in that situation where you just snap and you're mad, and then you're like, I'll just get kicked out of this game. It doesn't really matter. But your team comes back. So Seeler probably felt pretty good about himself for Philly getting back into a game. And we've seen a bit of that this year with teams kind of getting back into games. We just saw it for Toronto. What was it? A week ago, Schauger.
Yeah, for sure. What was the most snap show you went like at officials in a game? Never mind an opponent. Never mind. I
don't think I ever got really mad at a ref. And I try to really be muted with it. I didn't want to embarrass them because I always wanted the benefit of the doubt. And I do think that over my career, I got the benefit of the doubt more often than not because I didn't embarrass them. And I do think that's the way. If you show them up, if it's a 50-50 call, I think they're gonna dunk on you.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, you would think defensemen would have very little interaction with linesmen in particular too, hey? Like, what do you need to deal with linesmen about?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably fair. Maybe an offside you felt was offside, but I just don't think. I don't believe there's any value in grinding on working the ref over all the time. I looking back, I wish I'd maybe had more of a relationship with some of them. But I think my relationship is I wanted to show them respect so that I would hopefully get the benefit of the doubt on 50-50 calls. I would get upset with them, I guess, if you really need a point, is when I felt that the player dove. Yeah. I would really get upset. Because I think it's embarrassing that someone dives, whether it's my own teammate or the other team. I just don't think that's the spirit of the game. And I felt I could tell, and the refs weren't always able to tell. And I have holes in my game too, so I don't want to trip them too much.
Dr. Gonzo reminding me about icings for sure. That'd be a big one for a D man. You miss a pass, and So anyway, I think that's the right approach, though. A little bit more muted, like. And for centers in particular, we're seeing so many centers get tossed out, and Draisaitl's digging in a little with them. But like, you got to be careful. You see the odd game where you'll catch linesmen when they're mic'd up. Like, they're not afraid to give it back to guys a little too. Hey, it's not all just a one-way conversation. They're not afraid of certain guys. Hey,
but that's a very intimate thing, right? There's 3 people involved in a very intimate moment of the game, right? So, and like I can see the icing and stuff. And if you feel like you got, like, if you don't feel like you get the red line, or you feel like you did get it and they called it, that was frustrating. Or if the other team didn't get the red line, but that's just like me and the linesman. This is a linesman and an opponent who you're competing with, and your own emotions. So it's way more intimate.
Yeah. All right. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our great friends over at Backscape. And a reminder, 30 to 50% off right now. Visit backscape.com. Now it is time for our Ask Us Anything segment, brought to you by our great friends at Match Eatery and Public House. They are your Ice District dining destination. A reminder, $50 gift card right now gets you a bonus $10 card and 2 Match branded beer sleeves as well. Steve, you and I have been, we have not had great nights tonight, you and I. Me worse than you, but this is, we've got the Christmas break to sharpen up, buddy, but let's finish strong here, my friend.
Absolutely.
How's the mood on the stream and in the chat?
Everyone seems pretty good. Jeremy says some nice Christmas joy for us. He says, Rob Brown sure adds another level to the podcast. I love it when Struds and Brown rip on each other with that fantastic banter. So thanks, Jeremy. Some under the tree suggestions. So Jay says consistency. He wants to see some consistency under the tree.
100%.
Penner's Pancakes says continued solid 5v5 play and a great job coffee cup for Nurse. He's been excellent.
Yeah, Strud's big picture here. Darnell Nurse's game. I mean, of all the players whose game is trended up, he's got to be pretty close to the top of the list in terms of overall quality, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there was a play I wanted to talk about. I think it was in the first period. I believe it was a 2-on-1. He broke it up. He laid down. Don't always love it, but he laid down right by the net, and I think it was a stick to knock that down.
Yeah,
really nice subtle play, right? And those, you don't really get credit for that, right? You don't. It's not a goal. It doesn't register as a goal or a hit or whatever. But I really like that subtle play. I will chime in about the consistency. I think there's a case to be made that out of the last 15 games, they've had one poor game, one that wasn't consistent to what their effort needs to be. So I think they're actually delivering on that consistency.
15?
I'd say, well, what are we? Sorry, it's to be 8.
They're at 13
sorry,
right
15,
now.
so
Like
8,
they've won
yeah,
10 of 13.
Sorry, 13. Okay, so 13. Yeah, 13 games. My bad.
Okay. We got K-Gill saying, got your back podcast. Guys, were you as pissed as me at Wheeler's stupid celebration on his goal? I've never seen a more creepy look.
I think though he was more just really surprised by the play that was it Zabinajad, I think, that tapped it up to him. Like I think that was intentional, and that was off the charts skill to slide it in there. So I think he was more reacting to like, oh my God, I can't believe I got that pass.
Yeah, it was a weird look though. It didn't piss me off. I don't care, but I definitely think it was a bit of a bizarre look for sure. But it was just a thing between two teammates, Steve.
Some stranger says, you guys think Nobby has calmed this group down? They sure seem a lot more composed.
We take on the personality of your coach, right? When we had Pat Quinn here as a coach, God rest his soul, he is very, very exuberant on the bench. And I think that can kind of rock your bench when you're a young group. But Knobloch, like, he's very, very calm. Everywhere he is, he's very calm. And I don't think you need to scream and yell or at your players if you feel they're prepared and you empower them to play the game the way you want them to play. And I think he's done a good job. And that's not an indictment of Woodcroft or Manson, but I think his style is very, very calm. You never really know, good or bad. You can't really tell when you look at him on the bench. And I like that.
And I think what we're seeing is he's recently here through that 3-game losing streak, he started to implement a level of practical accountability. And it's very practical accountability, right? Evander Kane's game, well, he's playing on the line he deserves to be playing on right now. That's just facts.
Yeah, I like
Hunter
that.
Brown's healthy scratching, that's just facts. That just makes sense. So there's only so much accountability you can have when your roster is short. But to me, it's practical accountability that he's implementing, but it's done in a calm fashion. So yeah, honestly, I do think he's calmed this group down. I do.
And there's a note. I'd be interested to know if Connor Brown would have played tonight if Sam Gagner was healthy. We'll never know.
Yeah, we won't.
I would love to know in that moment what would happen.
Yeah.
The Bison Mask guy says, what do we take from the celebration following the win tonight? Is that something we should be looking at, or is it just a one-off? or is the team more disconnected than what the narrative is?
The celebration, you mean like after the final buzzer?
Yeah, I believe so.
Was it muted or something? I didn't pay a ton of attention.
I didn't see it either.
Well, it was weird. I think the fact that goal went in and make it 4-3, I think it brings down the level of joy just a little bit, right? Like, and then they had to wait for that puck to be dropped at the 0.1. Like Connor was sitting on the bench. Like it was
the late
weird.
goal.
Yeah, it's a weird way for it to happen. I think by the time they got back to the dressing room, they would have been pretty happy, right? Like not every win's going to be a Picasso. So I think but it is just the way it all came out was weird. So I think we got to give him a pass on that one because I thought we saw a lot more joy the previous night.
So I think they would have been feeling crappy for Skinner. Like I think I don't. You guys didn't agree with me. I think that was a big deal. It was like, come on, and so I could see how they were probably feeling like, sorry, Stu. There were probably some sorry Stews at the end of that game. I would think
we owe you one. That's what they'll say. Hey man, we owe you one about that. But they also got him a win, so that kind of helps.
Ryan Smith's nose says, I didn't get to watch the game, ... Holy shit, we won with 2 questions.
Yes.
Yeah,
they did win. They absolutely did win. There was one I saw. I can't remember exactly who it was from, was asking those Struds at that timeout that the Rangers called. And by the way, the timing on that was interesting because there was a commercial break that wasn't that far away, but they decided to call it anyways. I don't know. What do you think a coach says in that moment? I guess it changes coach to coach, but what do you think in that moment was said?
You know what? I love that timeout call by him because you could feel the ice was tilted and they had just seen what happened the previous night. So he's like in his mind, man, if they score this third goal right away, we're done. So I'm going to break their rhythm because I think maybe Shogger, he's thinking I'm going to get 2 timeouts. My timeout I call and then the TV timeout and really break their rhythm. And really what you say for a coach, say, hey guys, let's get back to what we do well. Like this is how we play. Maybe a reminder about what the Oilers do well. They want to beat you off the rush or whatever. So you kind of, but it's more about your group. This is what we're not doing. Let's do this. This is when we're playing well, reminders of that. And then again, you're like a cooler. You're trying to be the cooler. So I think he was looking for 2. I maybe give him too much credit, but I hear what you're saying about the time. I think they're trying to get a double timeout in there to really break their rhythm, let his team kind of get their legs back underneath them.
Yeah. 2 more, Steve.
Okay, some love for Skinner. Freezerberg said Skinner was fantastic tonight. Shane Matheson says Skinner won them that game. Sweet. Tito says, other than that last goal, I thought that may have been Skinner's best game of the year so far.
Wasn't it notable, Struds, that when he took that puck up high and got his bell rung there and then had the pleasantries with all the Rangers, I like the way he came back and competed right away. Like, didn't rattle him at all. I've never been a goalie. I've never taken a shot in the collarbone or in the chin or whatever. I would assume it has to throw you off a little bit, but I like the way he got back in there and right away slid post to post on that same power play, squared up and made a good save.
I mean, it's a normal thing for a goalie to get hit in the head. So they get hit in the head in practice quite often, right? And especially when you're growing up, you're getting hit all the time. So I think they're used to it. They go back. But I think Stu had a really good, some really nice saves, some good moments. But I think we can't forget what Jonathan Quick did on the other side. You know, he really covered the bottom of the net really well. And it took the Oilers a while until maybe Hyman to get the puck up, right? Get it up. He's taking away the bottom of the net. Get that puck up. Hyman did, and they kind of got the ball rolling.
Davin wonders whether Connor Brown will be scratched again. And I guess the bigger question is if we assume Gagne's healthy and comes back in, what happens with the lineup?
Yeah, it's a good question. And that goes back to what Struds was saying before. Like, would Brown have been in tonight? Struds, you made it clear you would have scratched him again and just gone back to the same lineup, right?
Two reasons. One, I would not change a winning lineup. It just sends all the wrong messages to your group. And then the other part is, let him stew in it a little bit, right? Let him get a little bit upset and play with a little more edge to his game.
The other thing is the guy likely to come out would have been Adam Ernie, and he's from that area. Like that's kind of going home for him, is it not? Is he not from in and around that area, I think?
Well, why would he deserve to come out?
Well, I know.
If you are Knobloch and you have to go down and say to Adam Ernie, hey, buddy, listen, I know this is near around where you come from. I know you had a good game yesterday and scored a big goal for us, but we're sitting you.
Yeah, from Connecticut.
Why are you sitting me? Why? Like I don't think you can, with a coach with a clear conscience, walk down and tell that guy that story. Can't do it.
All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. There was one more in there, actually. I think Kay Gill and a couple of other people said, Shogger, where can we get those hats? Referring to the Got Your Back cap I'm wearing tonight. So, and that segues into Struddy's appearance on the podcast, brought to you by our great friends over at Kin Print, helping you find creative ways to promote your brand, high-quality apparel. With top-of-the-line brands, visit kinprint.ca. Yeah, we're in design with Kin Print. We want to do some apparel in the new year. We would love to get some stuff out there. So this was our first iteration of it. I like it. Really like it. But we're going to keep working on a few different things. And so maybe in the new year, we'll have some apparel options for you here on Got Your Back. But thanks for your interest in that. Thanks to Kin Print for these. And by the way, got a nice Christmas present from Kevin and the amazing crew over at Kin Print. Sent us a couple extra hats. Actually, let me show you here real quick, Struds.
Is there any plans to make a visor? I'd love a visor for the golf course.
So they sent this one over as well. Bit of a different look. It's got the logo over on the side. So some people kind of prefer a little bit more of a chill look there. So they sent us that one too. And we're working our way through what we like best. So
is that a hard no on the visor or what? Do they
on the what?
A visor? Like, are they going to make? I'd like to get one in the visor. I can wear it as on the visor when I play golf. You know, I like the visor.
Oh, the golf visor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do it, man. If you can dream it, they can do it over at Kin Print. So we'll get one.
Dreaming it all night long.
We will get one for you. Let's wrap the podcast with our gem of the day, brought to you by Edmonton's most iconic home for everything sports. United Sport and Cycle, the final days before Christmas, and their last-minute Christmas sale is on as we speak. Save big for the athlete or the sports fan on your list. Visit www.unitedsport.ca. I don't want to disrespect our sponsor by going with the obvious gem of the day because we'll have to repeat it under their sponsorship banner, and I feel like we can do better for them than that. We all know what the gem of the day was, but we're going to go with a secondary gem of the day today too, Struds. So if you think about it for a moment, what is our gem number 2 of the day?
Oh, I got one. And Adele hit a few high notes today, but I'm going to go with actually your point you made, and I'm paraphrasing, about Evander Kane, and you feel that his frustration lies more with where the team is at, more than with his frustration of his own minutes and play. And it's an angle I hadn't thought about. And it's pretty rare not rare, but it is, I always love it when something kind of jogs my mind. I know I'll be thinking about that now for a while. So it's a really kind of understated, and to use your word, muted point you made. And I liked it. I didn't consider that. I hadn't considered that.
Yeah, and you know what? I was thinking it as you guys were talking, but I'll give Davin, who's a regular contributor on the stream, credit because he also typed it in there and said Kane sounds like a guy who's not happy with being 500 right now. You kind of assume, right, when you hear a guy complaining about ice time or throwing that in there. But I think it's about more than just that. So we'll see. Evander Kane's going to work his way back up the lineup. He's far too important not to. And nice to see his new stick finally worked, Struds.
Go back to the old one.
I don't like the old one. Put that under the Christmas tree for the Oilers. Evander Kane's old stick that got, 8 goals in 8 games or whatever he had before he made the change. Struds, great job tonight, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and Shona and the kids. I hope you have a fantastic break. I know you're going to take a few days off, so we'll see you in late December, I think it is, before you're back.
Or are we doing right after Christmas?
Oh, I don't know. Are we?
Well, that's what you texted me today.
Well, I thought you were gone the 27th.
No, I said if we do it in the morning, or you said anytime that day.
Oh, so you might be back for the 27th then.
Well, no, I'm on the 27th. Then we leave, so we'll do it the 27th. Well, let's not air our dirty laundry in public here.
We'll figure it out. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas.
Likewise.
Like, just stay to the point here.
Merry Christmas to your family, and obviously Steve, and even the Zoob, the mighty Zoob.
Even Zoobers. Steve, thank you kindly for all your great work, my friend. It's been a pleasure adding you to the podcast this year. Great work, and Merry Christmas to you and your family out in Kelowna.
Thanks, boys. Same right back at you guys.
All right, and to all of you that listen to Got Your Back, that join us on the live stream, we hope you have a fantastic holiday season. Enjoy loved ones, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you on the other side of Santa Claus coming. Cheers, everybody.